Welcome back, folks. We are back on Johnny Salami. I have finally finished farming all the materials to make all of the blue weapons from the bar. Took a while. I'm going to throw a list of the materials I had to farm just to craft the blue weapons up on the screen so you can see kind of the struggle bus I was driving for the last week. But with that out of the way, we are going to be starting with the assault rifle category because we're just going down the list again, and the top one is the assault rifles. And the very first one that you can get from the bar area that's blue is the old HK G3A1, and that's the stats on it. This is what the iron sights look like. They're not terrible, I guess. And that's what the recoil looks like without pulling down on it. Not terrible to control if you're actually trying to fight the recoil, but there that gun is. Next up is going to be the worn SIG SG 550. This is what the stats look like on it. And this is the recoil and the iron sights. Iron sights aren't bad. Recoil is also not very bad if you're pulling down to fight it. Now, next up is the M4A1. I already made it a +5 because this is actually the gun I was running exclusively until I got the SIG from the Iceman quest. So I apologize. This is supposed to be 750 shots per minute for the rate of fire instead of 766. Mine is 766 for the simple fact that it's a +5, and that's what I was using. I wish I hadn't have upgraded it so I could show you the actual fire rate, but this will give you a good enough idea. This is what the iron sights look like. They're honestly terrible. These are probably the worst iron sights out of the 4 assault rifles that we're doing right now. But you're most likely going to throw something on this anyway, so this is what the recoil looks like. Not hard to control if you're actually fighting it and pulling down. But like I said, the iron sights on this one are actually pretty terrible. But if you're using it, you're most likely going to be putting an optic on it anyway. Next up is the worn AS Val. There's not much you need to say about the worn AS Val. The iron sights are pretty much like any of the AK platform, sort of. I mean, it's really not... It's got the big dust cover on the back that covers up most of the screen. You're not really using it for that anyway, though. And this is what the fire rate looks like and the recoil. I'm not sure how good this gun is going to be after they implement the gun changes where they nerf the damage on most of them. I think that's supposed to be coming out either end of this month or next month, which would be March. So... And that's what the stats look like on the worn AS Val. Next up is going to be the worn RPD. This is what the stats look like on it. And it's got a 100-round mag, so this is going to take a second. But this is what the iron sights look like. Not terrible, not the best. That's what the recoil looks like on it. Just fucking shooting straight up in the air there. And the last one from the assault rifle category is going to be the L86A1. If you're trying to make this one, it's going to be a little bit harder to make than the other ones because all those use mats from the pit and the bar. This one, actually, you have to go into the Fool's Path to get the mats for it. And it's a 5.56 instead of the 7.62 that the RPD is. And this is what the stats look like on it. The one thing I do like about this one is it is a magazine instead of belt fed. So the reload on this one is much faster than the other one. The reload on this one's 4.5. The reload on this one is 7. Iron sights, not terrible. They really don't take up much on the screen. And recoil looks like this. And that's a much faster reload than the other one. But it is only 60 rounds instead of 100, so. All right, next up is going to be the SMGs. Technically, the AS Val is an SMG, but it's also listed under the assault rifle category, so I went ahead and knocked it out with those. The 3 SMGs you can make are the SR2M Veresk, the Spectre M4, and the FNP90. First one we're going to be checking out is this one, the SR2M Veresk, which 900 shots a minute. This thing is actually really nice if you're up close, tight quarters, and you're hitting your headshots. This thing shreds. And this is what the iron sights look like. And this is the recoil. It does have quite a bit of vertical climb. Up next is the Spectre M4. That's what the stats look like on it. A little less RPMs, a little less damage. This is what the iron sights look like. Not really a fan of them. And here's the recoil. Does have a 50 round mag instead of the 30 round that the Veresk has. And this one seems to have a lot more horizontal recoil than the Veresk, most likely because it doesn't have a stock on it. Next up is going to be the FNP90. Less RPMs than all of them and less damage than all of them. But it has a 50 round mag and less damage drop off at 45 to 110 meters than the other one does. Iron sights on this one are not that great, but it comes with a rail attached to the top that you can put an optic on, which is always good. This is what the iron sights look like. And here's the recoil. Next up is the machine gun category, and technically the Warn M1A, the Warn RPD, and the L86A1 are all in the machine gun category. The Warn M1A is the only one that's not also in the assault rifle category, so that's the only one we have out of this category to test out. And this one does not have automatic firing mode yet. It doesn't get that until you make the purple version. And this is what the stats look like on it. Not necessarily in this game at this moment, but I love this gun. I have one of these guns sitting back there, throwing that tidbit out there. But this is what the iron sights look like. Love these iron sights. And this is the fire rate as fast as I can click it. Like it honestly seems to slow down. That's me clicking it as fast as it'll let me click it. So that's what it looks like, and that's what the recoil looks like on it. Which the blue version of that fire rate being so slow with the damage being so low, kind of not worth it. I would definitely use the Story Quest M1A over this one until you can make the purple version, because that one has automatic fire, whereas the Story Quest one does not. Next up are going to be the sniper rifle category, which technically the Warn M1A is also in that category, and the machine guns. So we've already knocked that one out. So we're going to be doing the first one is the Winchester M70. This is what the stats look like on it. Looks wise, it's exactly the same as the green version you can make in Photon 2. That's what the fire rate and recoil look like on it. And like the other one, this one has a scope mount on top, so you can stick a scope directly on it. And then the Warn SVD is next. That's what the stats look like on it. Iron sights look very similar to most of the other AK platform type guns, and this is what the fire rate and recoil look like on it. Love the sound of this gun. It just sounds dirty. And now I'm going to run through the Covenant Tunnel back to the bar, because I'm actually using these two guns to upgrade to the next versions for the video, which the next two versions will be the Warn M40A5 and just the regular SVD. So I will be right back after I upgrade these, and I'll see you in a second. Alrighty, went, upgraded everything back. Next is going to be the Warn M40A5. These are what the stats look like. This is what the iron sights look like. Honestly, not that bad. Could be worse. They don't really take up a lot of room. And that's what the recoil looks like. Next up is going to be just the SVD, not the Warn SVD. I think it's got 5 more shots per minute and 5 more meters on the maximum distance, but this is what the stats look like. Iron sights are the exact same. Fire rate's just slightly faster. And that's what it looks like. Next up are going to be the shotguns. And the first one is going to be the Franchi SPAS-12. This is what stats look like on it. Iron sights, I've actually been running around quite a bit while I was farming. This is what I did most of my mutant farming with for the mats. I might have used this one, except for the fact that it's only got 4 rounds in it just off the base model. And this one has 8. This one shoots a little bit faster, but this is what the iron sights look like. That's the fire rate and the recoil. The best thing about this shotgun is you can make it pretty early after you get to the bar, because it uses materials from the pit and the bar area. Whereas this one, you have to go to Fool's Path to farm batteries and northern moss and things like that. So this one is not as easily obtainable materials wise. This is what the stats look like on the MP153. Iron sights is essentially just like any hunting shotgun. And that's what the fire rate and recoil look like on it. You can put an extra tube on this for 2 more shots, so it's a total of 6 rounds, whereas the Franchi SPAS-12 has 8 rounds. So my go-to is still this one, just because it's more rounds. And that's all of the shotguns that are the blue quality. And the last weapons we have are going to be the pistols, and there's 4 of those. First one's going to be the Beretta 92 FS. This is what the stats look like on it. You essentially get a free one of these from the main story quest. So what the iron sights look like, and that is what the recoil and the fire rate look like on it. Next up is going to be the Browning high power. This is what the stats look like on it. Iron sights, I'm not really a fan of. You can barely see that front sight. That's what the fire rate and recoil look like on it. Seems like that has a much slower fire rate. 375. Yeah, it does. So that's what the recoil looks like on it. Next up is going to be the Mauser C96. This is what the stats look like on it. Iron sights. Pretty big iron sights. That's what the fire rate and recoil look like on it. And the last one is the Smith & Wesson 1911. You can actually get a free one of these from the SVD Links quest as a bandit. When you are doing the quest Southern Guns for coin, it's in his long chain of quests. There's a guy named Koba, and once you're done doing the little quest for him, you have an option of getting a armor paint or a pistol. This is the pistol you get for free if you wanted to go that route. Otherwise, you can always just make it. This is what the stats look like on it. This is what the iron sights look like on it. And this is what the fire rate looks like. And the recoil. It is only a 7-round mag, but I think damage-wise, yeah, damage-wise, this is the highest damage pistol. It's 61, where all the rest of them are 56 and below. But that is going to do it for all of the craftable blue weapons from the bar zone. Next up is going to be all the craftable purple tier weapons from the bar zone. And that is going to be worse farming, I think, than the blue ones were. Oh, I just realized that the 100 Rads bar turned into the Covenant after I joined Covenant. So once you get to Covenant level 1 or 2 or whatever your sub-faction is, you can make these. Didn't know that. There's quite a bit of purple weapons to make for the bar. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 from the RPD, 8, 9, because I've already counted this one, 10. So there are 10 purple tier weapons for the bar area, and they are all very pricey to make. This one alone takes 1,670 northern moss, 890 dopestone. So these are going to take quite a while to farm everything up. I am probably going to do them in the order that I'm going to use them. So the very first one I make is going to be the M16A3, because that's the one I plan on using the most, I think. I think after that, I'm going to be making the Worn HK, because that one looks really nice as well. But bear with me, because I'm not going to be able to farm up the mats with the purple weapons nearly as fast as I did the blue weapons, I fear, because there are some monumental amounts of things you need. Sorry this video took a little bit longer to come out. I will be putting out videos on the Covenant side quest that you can pick up in the base here, in between this video and the one for the purple tier weapons. I could always put out one video per purple weapon if you guys wanted me to. Let me know in the comments below if you would rather me just make one purple weapon at a time and make a video on it, kind of showcasing it, and show some footage of me actually running around and maybe PvPing with it a little bit, just to show you kind of the fire rate. If you wanted me to do it in that fashion, it would probably expedite the videos on the guns coming out. Instead of just doing one large video where it shows you all of them and the fire rates and such, you could actually see them in action a little bit. It's still going to take quite a while to make each purple weapon though, because they are pretty pricey. So if this video helped you out, go ahead and drop a like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, I hope you guys have a good one, and I will catch you in the next video. Y'all take it easy.